owners, Native American business owners, as well as women business owners had a difficult time in obtaining financing from the traditional credit partners. And so we went out, created a program, launched it last year in 2023. And so far last year, we have helped over 100 successful minority and women-owned businesses with about $25 million in loans. We've already started this year with almost $8 million in approvals, again, geared toward minority business owners and women business owners that normally had difficulties in obtaining traditional credit finance.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was the song that myself and Common wrote. Two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk. Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming at you live from the 3rd Street Marquee Hall in downtown Milwaukee from the American Family Insurance Studio. You can always talk and text in, and call or text in, I should say, at 833-212-1017, or you can watch and stream us live on the YouTubes by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up and a like. Go ahead, give us a subscription as well, as we are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. And it's Friday, the Friday before Mother's Day. Before I get into Mother's Day, I'm just looking at we got our the TVs on here on the news stations, and I just see something that's very interesting. And I see it says White House briefs about the Newark airport outage, because in New Jersey, the airport out there, they have a air traffic control issue, and the White House is going to be talking about the issue. And I'm just going to tell you this now. If you see this weekend a quote from Trump talking about it was Joe Biden's fault that we have air traffic control issues, just remember the Federal Aviation Administration, fired 400 workers back in February. So, they have a shortage. I just want y'all to know they fired people. So we have issues with FAA, and I don't think firing people helps a staff shortage. So just putting that out there. But before we get into more topics, you know what? It's Mother's Day. this weekend, and I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful and incredible mothers out there doing they thing. You know, I love my mom. I'm a mama's boy. I have no issue saying I'm a mama's boy whatsoever. My mother and father did a great job raising me, I feel like, but my mom has always been my rock. And so when I this past weekend, I was just thinking about it. I was at my little cousin's graduation party. He gets his degree in finance from UW-Madison, and we had a party for him this past Sunday. And my aunt was talking about how, you know, our family history and where we came from, right? Like, I love having these conversations talking about our roots and our history. And I just think it's so incredible that, you know, a descendant from slaves could produce what we have produced, right? And I think about the fact that my grandfather was a sharecropper, right? And now he has 3 daughters who went on to get degrees and master's degrees and multiple degrees like that, right? You go from literally picking cotton as a child, right, to having 3 daughters that go and get a master's degree. Shout out to my Uncle Junior, R.I.P. He did his thing too. But it's just always interesting to me when I think about our history and where we came from, right? And you think about how systemically the things that we had to overcome because we were intentionally held back, right? But we still persevere. And so I think about all the fruits of the labor of so many black people that stood up and persisted and kept going and fought for their family to be able to be standing here today and be a success story. I mean, we are such a resilient people. And so to all the mothers here today, you are carrying on a legacy of your child, whether your child is young or your child is old, is that you birthed a legacy in our community. And shout out to all the mothers in all different races and backgrounds whatsoever. But I just want to say happy Mother's Day. I hope y'all have a beautiful weekend. I hope you get treated like the queen that you absolutely are. Mothers are truly, truly the foundation, the backbone, the rock of so many different families. So happy Mother's Day to my mother and happy Mother's Day to everybody else that celebrates Mother's Day. So now, we got that out the way. Well, I don't know if y'all saw, but a black man from Virginia was arrested earlier this week. His name was Tyler Butler. Now, Tyler Butler was at his home at 3 a.m., y'all. And I just jumped right into it because I saw this story and I got so much to say about it. And so he was at home, sleep 3 a.m. Most of the time, 3 o'clock. Listen, what's crazy, the older I get, the earlier I go to bed. Like, going out past midnight is a task. An absolute task. Matter of fact, when I went to St. Martin last week, we landed on Saturday. We got in. We had to take a nap, and we looked at each other and said, we got to go out. I said, come on, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So we had to get up out of bed after taking a nap before we actually went and did our, what we wanted to do, have fun, because we old. You get tired. And so 3 a.m. is, at 3 a.m., I'm deep REM, right? I'm delirious at 3 a.m. But see, this black man named Tyler Butler, who lived in Virginia, at 3 a.m., he had ding dong at his door. Allegedly ding dong. Some people say it was kick, slam, moving, pounding, all this thing, but there was a noise that happened outside his door at 3 a.m. Now, I don't know about y'all, but the climate we live in nowadays, if somebody's at my door at 3 a.m., I may get the istle. I may or may not recall the time somebody came to my parents' house and at 3 a.m. in the morning because something happened. They had like an accident. And maybe or maybe not, Papa Wallace had the istle on his hip saying, who the hell is this at my door? I don't know. But what I'm saying is that 3 a.m. is a strange time for some young teenagers to be playing ding dong ditch. Now, this gentleman got up, ran outside and saw these kids, and he ended up shooting these teens. He shot multiple teens. Now, this was a black man who shot some white teens. These young teens, unfortunately, one of them lost his life over gun violence. But again, this is a sad, tragic story of somebody losing their life to gun violence. But like I talked about before, we talked about the Carmelo Anthony story about a month ago now, about how that is a tragic story, but he was arrested right away. Also in this tragic story, a black man who shot a teenage boy who was at his door on his property. he was also arrested right away, and he also was being held with no bond. See, to me, that is what I call justice. When somebody murders somebody, we don't sit here and try to make excuses or figure it all out. No, we arrest the individual right away. That is what's called justice. And so what bothers so many people and makes me think about this situation so much is I thought about a situation that happened in Florida a couple years ago with a woman named Suzanne Lawrence, and she shot her black neighbor, female neighbor, through the eye hole of her door. She knew who was at her door, and she shot her. Now, did Susan get arrested? Yes. But Susan didn't get arrested until people had to yell, people had to scream, people had to say, what is going on in this situation? Because they said of the stand your ground laws down in Florida, but it took a little shaking, a little public outcry for Susan to get arrested. See, that's where the bothersome thing comes from me, because again, this gentleman, Tyler Butler, who some may say was defending his home from what he thought was trespassing or a break-in, but the kid said it was them just making a tick-tock ding-dong ditching. He was arrested right away and had no bond. And this story just got my mind going because there's so many different avenues and so many different questions that I have, because when I think about it, if somebody came to my door at 3 a.m. in the morning, I would be startled. I would be startled. And it just had me thinking, because this man called the police after, too. He shot him, and he called the police because he said it was a break-in. But then he was the one who got arrested. And again, it made me think, do we really believe and do we really think that he wanted to just shoot and kill these kids and these teens? Because I understand, there are black people who kill white people and white people who kill black people and black people who kill Asian who kill black and Hispanic. I understand that because of people's color of their skin or their nationality. But it's just interesting to me that he's being held with no bond after shooting somebody that came to his home at 3 o'clock in the morning. And he was arrested after he called the police after the incident happened. And for me, if I'm going to call the police after I shoot somebody, it's probably because I thought I was protecting myself. But this is what made me go. The question that was posed in my mind was, do we really think he was not in fear for his life? Like, that's the thing that went through my mind. Because of the fact that he was arrested so quickly, because of the fact that he called the police and they arrested him, it made me just think to myself, can black people be fearful for our lives when it involves white people? Because to me, when you look at a situation and you look at some of the details of what happened, is I understand. I think he used excessive force. I 100% do believe that. But I just think the swift justice that came from this is interesting, because you hear so often people using "I feared for my life" as an excuse to pull the trigger and kill other human beings. But in this situation, how quickly he was arrested, how he had no bond that was posted, it seems to me that we as black men are not allowed to use that as a justification of "I feared for my life" when it comes to other people. And I also feel like, as a black man, and I'm telling y'all this right now, if somebody came to my door at 3 a.m., I would be nervous as well. I would have Istil on my hip as well, because I would be wondering, why is somebody at my house at 3 a.m.? That does not make sense to me. That is quiet hours. That is not visiting time. And so it just really made me ponder. As a black man, can I not be fearful? Will I be seen as soft? Will I be seen as weak? Will I be seen as less than? Will I be seen as all type of words that, that we call people who are usually scary, because I fear for my life? I just thought this was, again, when I look at this situation, I don't know what all happened here in Virginia, but what I do know is it's not safe to be running around as a teenager and running up to nobody's house at 3 a.m. in the morning, especially in the climate of America where you can get shot at any time. And so in this scenario, in this situation, I'm actually nervous about what this means for black America and black men. Because if a black man who was in his house sleep heard somebody at his door, and allegedly there was some banging on the door, kicking on the door, we don't know. It's all going to come out. But if a black man in America at 3 a.m. in the morning can't be suspicious of what is going on at his house without being able to say, I am fearful, then we have a problem, black men. They don't see us as anyone who could be fearful. They don't understand why we, the big, bad black man, would ever be scared of anything. And let me tell you, all black people ain't this mythical creature that can beat up people, fight people, do all these things. No, that's not true. Not true at all. Can I throw hands? Sure. Can I win every fight? I know I can't. I'm not a fool. There are people who will whoop my ass. I get it. I know. But I don't mean I still won't try to fight. But what I'm saying is this, is that we can be fearful as African Americans. But I feel like in the mindset of America, black men can't be fearful. Why are you shaking your head, Zach? No, I can't. I didn't hear a word you said. It didn't come through. About who? Not you. Not you, DJ Brother Z. I put these paws to you, DJ Brother. I ain't worried about you. Uh-oh. I ain't worried about you, you light brothers. I ain't worried about y'all. But no, in reality, when I think about this situation, I think it's a sad, sad situation. I think the worst part about it is the fact that I hope from this tragedy, we stop thinking about race. And we start thinking about human life, because what we're going to see, just like we see in every other thing, right, it's going to become a race thing. Black people going to want to protect the man that shot an 18-year-old that just came to his door during Ding Dong Ditch, and white people going to be outraged that a white child was killed, even though if the shoe was on the other foot, we'll be screaming and yelling other things. This is a problem. It is. It sucks when someone is murdered and communities defend the perpetrator instead of supporting the victim. Instead of us saying we need to get rid of guns, we're going to be trying to protect people and make excuses for stories we don't even know what really happened. 833-212-1017. I just thought this was an interesting story that I saw, and it made me feel sad, but it also made me just feel as if a black man, I cannot be fearful. 833-212-1017. On the other side, we'll continue this conversation talking about Tyler Butler, an African-American man who shot and killed an 18-year-old teenager in Virginia who was allegedly playing Ding Dong Ditch for a TikTok at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, was he wrong? Y'all can give me feedback and let me know. But I'm not really focused too much on the right and wrong, because I do think it was wrong. I'm more focused on the fact that the man shot and killed him, and he clearly did not do it with malice. I shouldn't say clearly. It looks like he didn't do it with hate in his heart. It looks like he did it out of fear. But based off the fact that he was arrested immediately, he doesn't have bond, it seems to me that black people, African-American males specifically, we lack to be able to use the excuse or the justification that we feared for our life. And I feel like it's much bigger than, oh, we don't believe him. It's you, black man, how would you ever be fearful of these young teenage boys? And think about this as we get ready to go to break. George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, who was a teenage boy, 16 years old. And I will never forget how they painted a 16-year-old boy who could barely drive a car as the villain, as a monster, as an aggressor. And that is how African-American males are depicted. They did not believe a 16-year-old could be fearful for his life because he was a young black man. And that is a sad, sad state and a sad reality for us to live in. 833-212-1017. You can always chime in on the Truth Talk and text line. Also, make sure you watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. On the other side, I see your texts. I see your calls. We'll get to those. But then also, after this, I got to talk about MPS. I got to talk about Rufus King, because here we go again. Here we go again. We're going to have to break down what happened to those kids at Waterford High School when Rufus King went up there. 833-212-1017. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. Keep it locked. We'll have more on the other side.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee, Black Talk.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. There's no better time to upgrade your windows and doors than right now, because you can get up to 6 years of 0% financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Yes, no interest for up to 72 months, and the full Pella experience is always included. That means the Pella team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after the work is done. Set up your free in-home consultation. You commit to nothing at this point. A Pella design expert will listen to your vision and then present the different colors, sizes, and customizations needed to make that vision a reality. It can feel overwhelming to consider what feels like limitless possibilities, but Pella's design team can help narrow those options down for you to create that dream upgrade. Hurry! Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends May 31st, 2025. So visit PellaWI.com today.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need
the $100 hookup.
This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, tie, and shoes, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavanis.com.
Every accomplishment starts somewhere. For University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee student Nick Birschbach, it was internships that led to a job at GE Healthcare. For Charles Kelly, it started with an internship at a TV station. Now, he's a weekend anchor. And for Jaden Anderson, her leadership led to recognition from the American Institute of Architecture students. The path to success goes many places. It starts at UWM.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
La 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 la. Hey, I wanna scream so loud for you. I'm so proud of you, and let me tell you what I'm about to do, mama. I know I act a fool, but I promise you I'm going back to school. I appreciate what you allow for me, and I just want you to be proud.
Welcome back in to Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. That's my jam. Hey, mama, that's probably one of the greatest mother songs I feel like was ever made for me. Definitely for me. Shout out to Kanye West, even though, you know, he has his ups and his downs. But again, this is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. You can always call and text in at 833-212-1017. Make sure you go and watch and stream us live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And on the other side, I was having a conversation talking about a tragic story. Again, another tragic story of a gentleman named Tyler Butler, who at 3 a.m., these young children, or I shouldn't say young, teenagers, they were 17, 18-year-olds, were doing ding-dong ditch TikTok at 3 o'clock in the morning. He heard some noise outside his house. He saw some people outside his door. And when he opened up his door, they were running, and he shot and he killed them, allegedly. Well, killed one of them, allegedly. He was arrested. He wasn't given any bail. And I just thought about the fact that in this situation, did he shoot him on purpose because he just wanted to kill him, or did he fear for his life? And if he did fear for his life, that is an excuse to justify and kill so many black young men and women across this country all the time. And it led me to think, why is it that African Americans can't use that excuse of being fearful for their lives? There's always a story I'm reminded of. Is there was a man who went to FAMU, played football there, and I always remember this story because it just hurts, right? He got into a car accident where his car flipped over, and he was able to, climb out the car. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. Climb out the car. He climbs out the car after having this traumatic accident, and he runs to the nearest house and knocks on the door for help. White lady sees this black man at the door, refuses to give him help, and she calls the police. The black man, she doesn't help him. He's probably confused. He's probably sad. He's probably hurt. He cannot believe the fact that this is probably happening. And then he's running, and he sees the police, and he's waving the police down because he just had this car accident. He had this traumatic incident. He's waving the police down because he looks at the police as somebody who is friendly, somebody who can help him in this situation, protect and serve the community. And when he tried to get the police attention, they told him to stop. Obviously, he's in this state of mind where he has all this adrenaline pumping. He's thinking they want him to come. They tell him to stop. He does not stop. They gun him down, and they get off for killing him. It's sad stories like this that, again, make me as a black man remember that I can't be fearful, and I'm always seen as an enemy. 833-212-1017. Al, what comments or thoughts do you have here on this conversation?
Well, what I wanted to say to you, Kyle, that situation right there, those policemen was racist raised babies, barbaric babies by their mammy and pappy. And we don't care if white people are outraged. Be outraged when Louis Joey come with his AR-15. That's on them. That's what they raised to be. But also, it says withstand your ground law, and I don't know it, if he feel it was an immediate danger or immediate threat. So maybe that black man seen them. So if somebody come in your house, no matter what color they is, once they come in your house and they face you, blow their head clean off. Paint the wall with their blood like Picasso. And also, the parents of that black man need to sue those parents, because when you're under 18, you have a guardian. Also, sue TikTok as well. But you should not walk in fear. If they come into your house, and I don't care what color it is, if they don't belong there, blow their head off. But understand your stand your ground laws, because with white people, and all y'all are not bad, they always want to play the victim when the rabbit got the big old shotgun. Give them an extra booty hole. How about that?
Oh, wow.
They'll understand it. They think they big and bad anyway. They want to do no-knock warrants. You remember the sheriff in Indiana? He said they come in your house, blow their head off. Maybe that's be the first step to stopping racism.
Okay.
But also they need to sue the parents and TikTok.
I do agree with
what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Thank you, Al. I do agree with the suing of TikTok for sure. But then on top of that, the blow them another booty hole, that's wild. Wild. Now, talking about what Al was talking about, the stand your ground law. Now, I looked into this. Virginia does not have a stand your ground law, but they do have the Castle Doctrine. And with the Castle Doctrine in Virginia, a person is allowed to defend their home, but they must have a sufficient belief that an individual or individuals intend to cause a great bodily harm or death entering the dwelling. Now, this is where it's so big in this conversation, and this is why I talk about being African American. As an African American, there is probably a different level of proof that we have to present of whether or not that we have sufficient belief that a person in our castle, our home, is intending to cause great bodily harm or death after entering the dwelling. And so that's the one thing I think that the level that we have to prove is significantly higher, unfortunately. I think this is just a tragic situation because we lost a young life to gun violence, and I'm very anti-guns. My whole thing is that I know it's unrealistic. If we didn't have a single gun that was in the public's hand, we would have so many less deaths that happen like this. Yeah, you can have a knife or something like that, but at the end of the day, I'd rather take my chance of running away from somebody with a knife versus running with somebody who can shoot a bullet. 833-212-1017. Murray, thanks for calling in. What are your thoughts and comments on this conversation today, talking about Tyler Butler and the Virginia tragedy of a teenager losing his life after ding-dong ditching?
How they say on Facebook, shaking my head. Why? And I always say this when I hear your stories and all the stories across the board, listening to the truth. Why these black, white, or green men put themselves in these kind of situations. America, especially black men and an older black man like myself, we are afraid to go outside. You can't come beating on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning and not expecting a reaction.
Yeah.
Now, it's sad to see that this happened, that police are still killing our people, and we are being subjected to all of this racism and all this other stuff that goes on in America every day. But black men have to do better.
I mean, in this, but in this situation, for me, I hate the fact that this young man, because he ended up shooting and killing a white boy, and I just hate the fact that anybody got killed. But I feel like this black man, just like in the case of Rhea, help me. Who was the woman in Louisville, Kentucky? Breonna Taylor. In the case of Breonna Taylor, where the police came and knocked on their door. I feel like as African Americans, we supposed to have every right to defend our castle, but when we do defend our castle, they find a way to say we were still in the wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, death is never a good thing when it's taken tragically like that.
I agree.
My only point is you have to make better. Young people, y'all got to make better decisions. The other people are steadily getting rich, calling our 5-year-olds, the N-word. They study getting rich off the backs of black people. Why they don't see that?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Murray. I appreciate that. I think you made some great points. Again, 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. You can always talk or text in if you want to chime in on the conversation. Like Juanita, what are your thoughts on this conversation?
I was just ready to say what Mr. Murray said. The little girl, the white woman that called the baby a nigger over some toys, and the child has autism. She's made over $1 million, but yet this black man defending his home. How was he supposed to know they was doing the TikTok? You come to somebody's house at 3 o'clock in the morning, kicking on their door. Anybody would who have a gun would defend their home,
especially during times like these.
Exactly, but I'm gonna tell you something though. As black people, we need to have NRA insurance. It's about $50 a month. That man would not be in jail if he had NRA insurance. Whenever you're a gun owner, you need to have insurance. That's how Zimmerman got off.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you. I thank you for providing that information. I know something with the NRA is that a lot of times where these situations happen with African Americans, a lot of us always ask, where's the NRA? Where's the NRA? I'd be thinking the same thing. But I guess if you are a gun owner, be responsible. Get NRA insurance because that is a powerhouse. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and text line. I appreciate y'all participating in this conversation because, again, I think this is a tragedy. And like I said before, my overall hope in this situation is this. I hope we can get to a point that we can move past stuff like this and we can really focus on if somebody does something wrong, they get arrested, and we ain't playing the race card. We're not trying to defend people who are wrong. It is what it is. This is a tragedy. A teenager no longer has a life to look forward to, and a young 27-year-old now is going to have to go through the process of a jury and a court system, all because of a decision that was made. One last call here, 833-212-1017. I got about 30 seconds here for you, Lisa, before we transition on.
Okay, this generation, they're not playing with the racism thing. They're not playing the racism card. They're not doing anything. They're very bold. And us being black parents, them parents should have went up to them kids like we did our kids. Did you call my kid this or that? I'm going to teach you something today. Now, see, because they don't get chastised. They don't get their butt beat like our kids, like we chastise our kids. But these young kids today, they're not playing with these white people. They will come and they will pow you and do whatever they do. They hear us. They really do. But they're like, I'm not letting nobody beat on me. I'm not picking no cotton. And they are so right. So
I agree. I agree, Lisa. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. On the other side, Rufus King High School students, their track team, went down to Racine County to Waterford High School and got called anything and everything but a child of God, and we got to talk about it here today. Keep it locked. We got to have a conversation about this overt racism that is on the rise and starting to touch home way too often. Keep it locked. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We're going to have more conversation on the other side.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent, as an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. The 19 and 19 Milwaukee Brewers will hit the road down in Tampa Bay to begin a 3-game series tonight against the Rays. Jose Quintana expected to get the start for the Brew Crew tonight. Over on WTMJ, Brewers general manager Matt Arnold discussing this time of year and where this team stands as far as trades go.
You always have to stay open-minded on everything, frankly, but to be honest with you, it's not something that's crossed our mind at all. I mean, we're looking at winning tonight, just like Murph talks about every single day.
First pitch is slated for 6:05. Over to the NBA, where the Minnesota Timberwolves even out their series against the Golden State Warriors with a 117-93 win. And the Pacers and Cavs will tip off Game 3 tonight at 6:30, as will the Thunder and Nuggets, slated for a 9 p.m. tip. The Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
You all appreciate it. When I was young, me and my mama had beef 17 years.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And always remember, it's one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. Listen, if your loved one is ever injured in an accident, I understand it's traumatic. So I understand you got to go through some things. But if you get in an accident and somebody says, oh, we can negotiate this, how much does that cost? Or, oh, I don't have insurance. Or, oh, no. What you do is you call the police, you get the VIN number of their car, and then you contact Gruber Law Offices. You don't go back and forth and do nothing by yourself, because that ain't the way to go about it. The way to go about it is contacting Gruber Law Offices, because they will take the burden off your shoulders. They will focus on the legal so you can focus on healing as their client. It's just one call, that's all, and they will handle the rest. And what I love about them, you already know, they have the best service, they have the best representation, and they have the best care, because it is their priority. And always remember, when you make one call, that's all, you never pay a single penny until they win your case. Get with the winning team today by visiting Gruber Law Offices at gruber-law.com. That's gruber-law.com, or calling them at 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666. It's one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. I wanted to hold this story to Monday so bad, but now it's going to be breaking soon. Is that y'all remember when I talked about the white South Africans, the Afrikaners, the white South Africans who aren't from South Africa, but they came down there and literally terrorized black South Africans, the people who were naturally there? You remember how I said Donald Trump was talking about bringing them to America as refugees because they're losing their land or being threatened? Well, next week the white South Africans are coming to America, so we'll definitely be talking about that come Monday, is how the Haitians gotta go, but the white South Africans who came to somebody else's country and stole their land, you get to come. Racism at its finest. I can't wait to talk about that in depth come on Monday. But today I got to talk about this. It's yesterday I was doing my show, Kyle Bruss and Norman, on ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Wisconsin, Madison, Beaver Dam. And you know, I'll be perusing, I'll be looking for stories while I'm doing the show, looking for sports stories. And then I'll go to JS Online and I'll see stuff. And yesterday I saw something when I was on Facebook about students from Rufus King High School here in Milwaukee who went down to Waterford for an athletic, being a track meet. And I believe Jamin with Juice talked about it and Sherwin talked about it. And when they were down there just trying to compete, they had to deal with a whole bunch of racism. Make sure y'all go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube, because I want y'all to hear about the incident that happened, courtesy of TMJ4 News here in Milwaukee. That's not what we're looking for. Well, anyways, I'll just share the story of what we have. I'll just share the story of what we have. And so, basically, overt racism is on the rise. It's on the rise. The amount of racial incidents where people are blatantly calling black people the N-word has always persisted. Like, this isn't anything new. Right? Like, this isn't anything new. It's something that we're seeing. But what I'm seeing currently is all of a sudden a lack of remorse. That's what I'm seeing all of a sudden. Because before, people being called the N-word, I mean, unfortunately, most African Americans have either been called the N-word or know somebody that was called the N-word. But something that I think is changing is the fact that there isn't any remorse being displayed by individuals who use that type of language. And unfortunately, we live in a country that was built on hate, and that's the fabric of the American DNA. Like, hate. And I felt like we were making progress, and I know we were making progress. But unfortunately, right now, we're living in a place where racism is definitely on the rise, and it's overtly. And I feel like Trump has changed that to make it so it's, worse here in America. And earlier this year, there was an incident at Cunis Automotive in Oak Creek. We talked about this, right? Like a black woman got her car serviced, and on the sticker where it says, "Thank you, come again," "Thank you for your service," or "Thank you for coming," "Thank you for being a customer," the sticker read, "Thank you, come again, nigger," right? Now, Cunis did apologize, but also after they apologized, they also played the victim, right? This woman who got called the N-word had to deal with that, cried in her car after seeing that, had to be emotionally scarred and harmed for that. Cunis Automotive, after they said sorry, they said, "What more are we supposed to do? We apologize. Why are y'all so mad at us? We're mad at you now," right? We live in a place where Cunis didn't give her a car. Some dealership in New York gave her a car. We're lacking empathy. Like, we had something that happened earlier in the week where we talked about it, but happened last week, where the woman in Rochester, Minnesota called a 5-year-old black child a nigger and ended up getting a GoFundMe type page, which is actually called Give, Send, and Go, which is crazy to be a Christian fundraising platform. Somehow they allowed that to happen on a Christian fundraising platform. But she raised over $700,000 in less than 2 weeks. Now, I bring all these stories to you to light because I'm not trying to race bait or be some angry black man. But I do it because I feel like our community needs to be aware of these situations that keep happening in our country, especially when it comes to social issues which negatively impact African Americans and impact black people. So I want us to understand that these incidents that happen and are happening closer and closer to home, these just aren't one-offs. This is becoming the new reality of what it means to be African American in this country. We have to understand what happened in Minnesota, what happened in Oak Creek will happen here. And it's important that we as families, we as a community, prepare our youth, prepare our children, prepare our families for the potential hate that they may face in this world. Because I guarantee you, the kids that got called the N-word, the parents that had to deal with racism out at Waterford High School in Racine County, this may not be the first time, and it for dang sure won't be the last time. And so, again, the hate that we saw Wednesday just shows you where racial tensions are at. And now, Rufus King made a decision to pack up and leave after the disrespect, and I applaud that. I do. Because for me, this is nothing new, but something needs to change. The openness of how people are using this language and this bigotry and these words needs to change. There was a woman who was on the Pearce Morgan show, who intentionally on that international platform bragged about how she used the N-word. There's no repercussions for these actions anymore. 833-212-1017. How did we get here? How did we get here? That's what I'm trying to figure out, is how did we get here? Because when I think about the fact that our kids can't even go to a park and have autism and go in somebody else's bag without being called a name, or the fact that our kids can't go to a track meet to just play sports, do something that we love to do, something that's supposed to bring everybody together without parents having to deal with some sense of hate, kids having to deal with some sense of hate. Has Trump emboldened certain people to live out their true racism? Have you felt the shift? 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line, 833-212-1017. Because for me, when I again, racism has always been around. It ain't go nowhere. It calmed down. I mean, as it's not as heightened before. We can go in different places, right? We don't get called out of our name all the time. And a lot of times it happens behind closed doors. People make offensive comments all the time behind closed doors. But the situation that happened at Waterford High School with Rufus King is completely unacceptable. And there was actually a statement that was put out by the school yesterday that read this: Dear family, track families, I'm writing you to inform we are deeply upset with the situation that happened at the track meet at Waterford on May 7th. Throughout the event, several of our athletes were subjected to repeated racist comments from students affiliated with Waterford. Our coaching staff immediately notified Waterford's administration. Unfortunately, the inappropriate behavior continued despite our efforts to address it on site. Given the circumstances, our coaching staff made the difficult decision to withdraw from the meet following the 200-meter race. We are currently following up with both Waterford administration and the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association to ensure that this matter is taken seriously and addressed appropriately. We deeply regret that any of our students had to experience such ignorance and hate. It's sad that this is the reality of what these kids have to face nowadays. And I solely blame this on Donald Trump. 833-212-1017. Miss Sandra on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Hi, Kyle. I was on your topic. I feel like you feel all this, it didn't all just come about because of Trump, but it's been there forever. You know, if you just look at from day one, we got here. But I'm thinking a lot of it is all his lackeys behind him too, because he's like the puppet. He's like the puppet. He's got a lot of folks behind him with that racist stuff. Steve Bannon is one. It's a documentary on him running all over Europe, telling white people to kiss your arms and stuff. See, what they use is us black people, because they know it's only a fourth of us here, supposed to be 13%, you know, in America. Okay, now, if you can wipe out the lowest, you know, the denominator, whatever you want to call us, it's easier to wipe out us first versus the other races. So, I'm thinking like you're thinking. Another one, only one more thing I want to say. Start looking at these people's net worth. Look at the money they make. What's the one on Fox? Hannity. $100 million a year. They want to keep us fighting, to keep us focused off of them while they steal our American dream, our money, our health care, everything. We got to start looking them up. And don't get mad when these white people, I don't get mad they call me a nigga, because I can call them back. But a lot of times I ignore it too, you know, so you don't get into serious stuff where somebody end up with a gun, stabbing with a knife, like the kid over there stabbed the kid with the knife and all that stuff. You don't want that. So I just think before you jump. But basically, look at all the net worth, all these people spewing out, and look at some of these people here that think they're so rich to do this stuff, and they're not. It's going to affect them worse than us, because Trump is doing a lot. He's cutting out their parents' insurances. He's kicking them off their jobs. So I can't wait to see it, because I'm going to laugh at them. Let them march some more.
As somebody who's a parent, what would you say to your kid if they had to face this type of racism at a track meet?
Well, at a track meet, I would be like a coach. Get in the huddle and tell the kids what the coach feels they should do. Like my son, he's 52 now, but when he started out in elementary, my sister tried to get me to send him over here to Richard Street School over here by Bayshore. And my nephew was going there. And the next minute I looked, my little nephew came home telling me they called him a little in runaround.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
So
Sandra.
I'm so glad to this day I didn't send my son there. Okay,
thank
bye-bye.
you, Ms. Sandra. Yeah. I mean, I don't know when I don't have children, but I know one thing. I plan on telling my kids that definitely, if somebody call you something, you definitely got to stand up for yourself. You could definitely stand up for yourself. Because, I mean, tell daddy, tell the teacher, but also stand up for yourself, because that's something we ain't going to stand for. 833-212-1017. On the other side, we will wrap up the show, and I will share my final thoughts on this terrible situation that our young students at Rufus King, these young students that are going to one of the best high schools in the state, one of the best high schools in Milwaukee public schools, these kids who work their behinds off in the classroom but also on the sports field as well, had to endure so much hate and so much racism, and it's completely unfortunate, and I expect Waterford to do something about it and reprimand those kids that were the perpetrators and the parents as well. 833-212-1017. We'll wrap up the show on the other side.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
Start jamming in the morning and get your daily drop of juice.
Juice gets you hydrated and started for your day. And that's what we plan to do from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Every single morning, we're going to be keeping you in the mix, talking about everything you care about all before 9 a.m.
So wipe that crust out your eyes and get ready for jamming with juice.
Turning your mornings into your favorite part of the day.
Get that stank breath out of here. Brush your teeth.
It's it, bro. Like, what? Catch Jammin' with Juice
from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Milwaukee.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
So, Black women's leadership needs to be prioritized. That means a whole lot of things, but it includes a message for white women, which would be, it'll be wise for you to take our lead. We've already demonstrated everything there is to the world about who we are. We shouldn't have to keep doing that over and over again. The reality is that there are times when we got to muster up the energy to do some things we don't want to do, but I don't want that to be commonplace for me, and I certainly don't want it to be commonplace for other Black women. There's often this message that we need to stay strong because there are people depending on it. No, we need ourselves.
Yeah, you can't, what do they say? You can't pour from an empty cup?
Yes. And I even am hearing people say a lot more, you shouldn't pour from your cup at all until it overflows. And it's the overflow that you give. You keep the full cup for yourself.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Need to look sharp for graduation? You need
the $100 hookup.
Want to get decked out for prom? Get the
$100 hookup.
An incredible deal that includes a marvelous suit, shirt, tie, shoes, all for $100. Only at Nick Avani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Avani's. Get hooked up today at Nick Avani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickavanis.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I walk on the shoulders of giants who have come before me.
I am grateful for those who changed yesterday.
But I live in today.
And I pledge I will help shape tomorrow.
Milwaukee College Prep Scholars honor Black History Month, not just during February, but each and every day they walk through the door, preparing for a better life for themselves and the world around them. Enroll your scholar for the 2025-26 school year at MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com. This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
We ain't gonna say, oh man, come on, Rhea. Everybody heard this song. This is a classic.
I've never heard of this.
You gonna hear it once it comes in. Play it. This is Playoff song today. Welcome back in to Truth to Power. Here with Kyle Walsh on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And it's so hard for me to recap so much negativity when I have so much fun. Music in the background. You never heard this before?
I don't know what this is.
Turn it up. It's my jam. All right, you can turn it down just a little bit. And so basically, I'll wrap up the show today. Listen, what happened at Rufus King with the students is terrible. It's terrible that these students had to face that type of hatred, that type of racism. And it's terrible that parents have to have these conversations. And as they said here, I just told my child to blow it off and don't respond to it. Just get out there and kick butt on the track, right? You know, it's just terrible. It's the fact that they had to deal with racist taunts. It's the fact that parents had to deal with being called gangsters by other parents. And what's crazy is that Rufus King is some of the best that we have to offer in Milwaukee when I'm talking about young, Black, up-and-coming, thriving young children, the brightest minds that will go on to do great things. So many kids in that school are going to our Ivy League school. I bet you more Ivy League students come from King than they actually come from Waterford. So many kids going on to go to HBCUs and going on to UW-Madison. So many parents with degrees. I got family who got kids in that school, got multiple degrees. But because they Black, they call the parents gangsters? It shows you that racism is alive and well in this country. We got to continue to push back against it. But I want y'all to definitely have a happy, beautiful Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers. Happy Mother's Day to my mama, my aunties, my cousins, anybody I know that is a mother. Happy Mother's Day to you all, and happy Mother's Day to you all, Truth Nation. The Tori Lowe Show is coming up next. This has been Truth to Power with Kyle Walsh on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and we're going to let the intruders, right, take us out here.
Here At the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and